So yeah, special effects, that would be cool. I don't know if it's in our budget, but you have all this stuff.
Budget, schmudget. What are you talking about?
Well, we're halfway there.
So.
Yeah, he's the budget master. All right, so I'm Jennifer Moss, PJ McGuire, Dave Hawley. So today's episode, we're talking about embracing the suck. So
Happy New Year.
Is that anything like you suck?
No.
Oh, okay.
More like lean into the discomfort.
Oh,
well, we were talking about it.
All right.
Yeah, before they rolled.
I think it's important. Okay, so anyone who works with me knows I pride myself on making you uncomfortable because you're both nodding because you're like, yep, you've done it to both of us. I do it to Zach, our producer, all the time. Because I know that growth only happens in discomfort. Right. It does not happen in complacency or comfort. Right. You don't grow just sitting there being super comfortable all the time. You only grow if you're uncomfortable. So what's the most character building moments in your life? I don't need details, but
Failures. Absolutely.
Discomfort, major life events that are brutal. That's when your character changes.
Pain. Forces change.
Yeah, pain and fear.
Pain only.
Yep.
Pain and fear.
Right, which I would say are almost the same thing, but yes.
And love's the flip side of that.
Right.
Fear and love.
Right.
Those are the only two really big, huge shifting factors. And usually pain happens because you love something and doesn't go according to. Feel free to just shove that door closed if you need to, Zach. We are in a working office. We're test driving a new studio, which happens to be in a conference room where there's pass-through.
But there's cool, sexy new equipment, though. It's
cool. Yeah. With a makeshift studio. We're working on it.
The smoker table. We're gaining on it.
You're going to see some changes if you're watching the YouTube. Otherwise, you're going to keep driving your car, listening to these kooks talk on your radio. So I'm leaning into a really uncomfortable exercise in my personal life, and aside from my new position at work and the new curveballs I get every single day,
every minute.
Yes. Yeah, like PJ on the fast dial. Jen, I need you. I only need a minute. It's like, no, this can take me 3 hours. Okay, cool. Let's just lean in.
It's coming.
Yes, it is.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah, we're at that. I love, and I mean, any of the listeners might just laugh about this because you run into me in the off season when you run into people in November and December, and like, oh, you guys are getting just so much free time off.
Oh.
Yeah. I swear you guys fed me that line of baloney when I hired on.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an off season. Don't worry. We work our guts out. But
we were lying.
They are so lying. There's no off season here.
Well, we actually have just as much work to do in the off season and like literally like a quarter of the amount of people.
Right? Yeah.
And then like less than that for money. And it's like, okay, we got work for 100 and there's 15 of you. Okay, you got a week. Like, that's a month of work.
Well, it's always amazing. It's like, what? You're already growing plants? Well, yeah. How do you think we have them ready for you when you want them?
Exactly.
But now you're growing plants? Yeah, they're in our greenhouse. Oh.
Yeah, we have somebody here. When it gets snowed out and you have to call the road department and they're like, oh, well, we took care of the dairies. I got live beings as well. There's just like millions of them and they're less than an inch tall. Get your plow out here now. I need to get people in.
There's only 2 months of the year we don't plant plants on this farm on my side. And I don't know, but it knows, but that's my responsibility here is I take care of the transplant here. June and July.
Yeah.
For the only 2 months.
June
We
and
are
July.
planting every other month of the year. So 10 months a year, we're putting green stuff and brown stuff somewhere on this farm.
And other people are still putting green stuff and brown stuff in
to
June
send it
and
to
July.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're still
ordering stuff.
We're still
working.
Process, just
Correct.
not the production
That's
department.
On this factory,
Producing.
doesn't exactly right.
Yeah. Well, and CPC is.
No, yeah. I'm just saying.
CPC for jargon is our custom planning. That's
Right.
actually when we install our Sun Valley resort job.
That's exactly right.
So still happening.
True. Just not
different.
on this farm.
Just not not on a production line on
Correct.
the farm.
And this farm is a little different than, say, other nurseries that are in a temperate zone.
Yeah.
Sure.
Where they're going 52 weeks out of the year
Right.
because they have the zone for it.
Doesn't that
that's,
sound amazing?
It does sound amazing.
Yes
It
and
does.
no.
And it's
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
As we were
coming from a 365.
Our last episode was talking
job.
about cycle of life.
I love the Four Seasons. Coming from, I spent
I also
30 years in Las Vegas.
love-
There is no downtime. There is no off season. There is no Auschwitz.
Right.
We run, and I was in the golf business. So every single day of the year we're open. We're mowing the grass every single day of the year.
Yeah.
No off time. Idaho is a beautiful thing. Not that, again, I always still have work to do, but the
Yes, all
pressure
the time.
comes off a little. And I'm talking about in the golf or in the
Yeah.
landscape type business.
Yeah.
You still got things to do, but the pressure is off, right? For those few months in the winter, which is an amazing break for someone who did it.
And everybody
year-round.
has a different comfort zone as far as season goes,
Right.
right? So when I say they embrace the suck, you might be listening to this driving through a snowstorm or pissed off that it was 0 degrees and you lost your water heater heat or something like that. So that's an embrace the suck moment, right? Whereas I love this time of year. Embracing the suck comes in the spring and 90-hour weeks.
Yeah, Mother's Day, I was going to say for
yeah,
you.
and you know, I also don't think discomfort is a bad thing. I was actually reading my horoscope saying that I was adverse to change. I was like, no, I live change, buddy. Incorrect, astrologer.
Swing and a miss. Strike one.
Correct guessing on my part. So no, I like change, and so I'm not adverse to change. When things get stagnant, I get really bored. And
Man, are you in the right job?
Yeah.
Jim
Changes
and
all the
crickets.
time.
Oh my God!
And
By the
you
minute
get a little
around here.
bit PTSD with the back and forth
Right.
in our job because
Ping pong.
what
What? Whiplash.
yeah, we
We were just talking
about
about how I'm pretty sure growing plants here in Southern Idaho is more complicated than flying the space shuttle. There are less people working at NASA today than we trying to plant begonias right now. Unbelievable, this business.
But I think it's always funny that after you've come home from a long day, and I'm talking in the spring or whatever, so we've been here 12, 13 hours, and then I come home. He says, "You going to talk?" I've been talking the whole day.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
when people want me to socialize in the spring, I'm like, no, no. And yeah, we have a little bit of back chatter. It's Onyx trying to tell Zach about how he needs to throw her bone. You can just open that door and she'll go down there if you want. We have lots of dogs at Moss Greenhouses. On any given visit, you get about 6. There's about 4 in the office and 2 down in the out in the greenhouses, and only 2 of them are Moss dogs. But that's
Just get him a mic next time.
Those are strays.
no, they belong to people. But
I
yeah,
fed all of them.
we have stray cats.
we just ought to
everywhere.
put a roaming camera on one of the dogs, just coming in and out, and then
There
you've
you
got
go.
where you can cut to. So it's
Can we
You
put
know.
like a barrel of rum around one of their necks just to run around?
Nice.
Just like a
Night
like a
would
Saint
do.
Bernard or something. Just, oh, there's Onyx! Yay! Just get-
You get a drink while you're in the greenhouse.
so. What's your suck? Because it's quite unusual.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
can you
my
tell
suck-
us?
All
You
right.
tell
So
us.
I am trying to tackle some health stuff I've got going on. And most of my autoimmune and disease stuff, which watch the Float Magic podcast and you'll get the details on that. There's my plug for Shawnee. I actually use a lot of her services for stress reduction and self-care. And I'm also doing a different challenge. Okay, so inflammation is the base of 2 of the things I deal with, and it's directly related to my autoimmune disease.
2. More than 2.
Yeah.
My opinion.
yeah,
Coming from the
but
doctor
2.
over here.
Yeah,
Dr. TJ.
Apparently,
Yeah.
I'm not allergic to only air.
Yes.
Jennifer's dietary restrictions are complicated. So I was doing some research and they put a cold plunge in, and I'm like, man, I've heard some crazy things about cold plunge. So I started reading up on Wim Hof. He's the Iceman. And he's got a whole bunch of research about stress reduction, which is leading to my autoimmune disease. Everything, reduce your stress. You know what? I'm running
Giant
This
business. Yeah.
chaos. There's no
Stepmother.
stress.
No.
Yeah, I'm a
God.
stepmom. I'm a wife. I'm
Yep,
actively in
And
the
you've got a
community.
personality. I've got a
Yeah.
personality. This person's got a personality, and they don't jive. You know, so
No, we don't always agree, and that's okay. So stress reducing and inflammation are my 2 big things, and then getting stats to actually track things, right? And my big, huge goal, so 26 months from yesterday, I will turn 40 years old. That's 790 days away, just so you know. We're tracking.
So your
And-
birthday was 2 days ago?
No, my birthday is March 2nd.
Okay, got
but
it,
I
got it.
turned
You-
40
you're doing
in
the- got it.
2025.
Got it.
send
And
cards and
so-
flowers, care of Jennifer.
Yeah, I'll actually be. You know, it's funny.
Make sure they all say she's 40.
I also
All of them. Every one of them.
2025.
Zach
turned
flash
40.
40 on the graphics. Okay, it's like
Okay, I should qualify my statement. I'm 37 now. Okay, let's start there. Yeah, I am. So, we were joking about this. I never really ever go back and watch myself on camera. I don't worry about wearing makeup. I try to make sure I'm not like poof, frizzy, like look like a human pom-pom, but that's just about it. Make sure there's not black shit in my teeth, things like that. But I don't go back and watch myself. Dave goes through this self-deprecating
Frame by
practice.
frame,
And
yeah.
there's a lot of people that do it. I'm like, just don't watch yourself and it's fine. So do you go back and watch your comedy shows?
Absolutely. Well, it's part of that. No is the quick answer.
The
I
answer
hate
is
watching
no.
it. Yeah,
No.
no is the answer.
It's like when my voice comes on a commercial in the spring, you'll actually watch me visibly wince. Like, oh, I really sound like
Well,
like I don't want to hear myself.
and I think where we've been able to have video in the productions that I've done in the past, it's like, how the hell did that come out like that? That's not what I practiced.
That's
It's
not
not
what I
what I did
meant.
the last time. So that's why I go back and watch the video. So when I did the video for Cultivate,
Yeah.
right? I'm going, okay, that sounded good. That was corny. That was,
Yeah, see, I don't-
look at
I
it
don't go back
as
and watch
self-help
those.
to make me better at
So
my next.
now I say that I don't watch that, but I am reflecting and going back to old patterns, embracing the suck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to identify, okay, I have so much information after going down this health journey of trying to tackle this that I was like, okay, what's something big and scary? Because I like big, scary goals because fear keeps you alert, which has been a message that I've pushed through on our podcast before. But I wanted something I could control. So I can control inflammation in theory. I can control how my body reacts to stress. No, but I can teach my body. So as I was studying Wim Hof, there's this whole study that if you can do cold plunging yourself for 3 to 5 minutes, you teach your body, you take it back to our evolutionary state of fight or flight, right? So fight or flight used to be, there is a cougar chasing me, I better run. Or, hey, there's a gorilla trying to steal my food and threaten my family, I'm going to fight. Well, what triggers our fight or flight now? An email from the boss, a bad phone call, like things that happen every single day. So now our body's oxidative stress system doesn't know how to respond, right? Because it doesn't know what's actually a threat and what's actually
Because that's not a true flight or flight.
Correct.
It's just a stress
But
response.
you've got your amphibian brain. This is like the brain that keeps you alive, your survival brain. It doesn't have cognitive function to be able to separate that. So your fight or flight still triggers. Or your fight, flight, or freeze, which is a little bit more of the science. So the idea of Wim Hof's cold plunge, and there's a breathing method with it too, because you dunk yourself in cold water. What do you stop doing?
Everything.
Breathing. You start to hyperventilate, actually. You go, and
Right,
it's
super shallow
Yeah.
breaths.
Exactly, because your body goes into panic. Well, this cold plunging for 3 to 5 minutes, and I'm to 2 minutes, just so you know.
And you've only twice?
I've
You've
only done it twice.
So
Well,
one
I did.
minute the
I
first
done
time?
it in December. No, I did it 2 minutes both times.
shit. Okay.
I did it in December or November, and I only made it a minute 45. So I knew. I'm like, okay. And
You got a time to beat.
yes, I got
to
it.
beat.
Well, and I'm trying to. 3 minutes is where you start to see physical benefits. Up to 5. Past 5, you don't see much. So like 3 to 5
5 is the
minutes
window.
is the money shot, and there's kind of a high that happens. It's really interesting. And let me tell you, after CrossFit yesterday morning, I'm trying to do it right after my CrossFit workout because if it's
Also super beneficial for the muscle
absolutely.
regeneration.
It's what you see athletes do.
Absolutely.
You see the interview in the
Yeah.
locker room with Patrick
Right,
Mahomes,
right.
and he's sitting there in the tub of ice.
Right in the ice
That's
bath.
exactly
Yeah.
what.
So you're
exact
doing
concept.
it after workouts, not going there and then plunging for 3 minutes after you've worked all day.
Correct.
Okay,
Doing it
because
in the
I'm
mornings.
After a workout.
Why would somebody in
No,
their right
that-
mind
You
go
wouldn't
to
do
a
it
place
at the
like
end of the
that
day.
and it's 18 degrees outside?
Right.
You've just put yourself in a 45-degree
Yeah, it was
bucket
20.
of water.
It was 23 degrees as
And-
I was driving.
Yeah,
yesterday.
and it's like, and if it was for personal best, I would say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it until 3 minutes, and I'm going to never do it again.
and you'll
that's-
only see benefits if you do it continuously.
Right.
So the idea is that you're teaching your cells what actual stress is, so that when I'm having bullet after bullet after bullet thrown at me in a workday, which
Right.
you're very familiar with,
Right.
and so are you, my body doesn't have the fight or flight. It's like, oh, okay, I've got to respond to an email. Oh, okay, there's an upset customer.
You're
Oh, okay.
retraining.
You're retraining your entire evolutionary response back to what it needs to
That's
be.
what they have drugs for.
No.
I also have a goal, and again, go back to the Float Magic episode. No pharmaceuticals. I have one prescribed medicine, and that's to control my Graves' disease. which is why I'm trying to change my stress response, because that's what's triggering a lot of my graves is my stress response, aside from an overactive thyroid. And so this is so I'm doing a 2-prong approach on inflammation. So I'm doing Dr. Wilkes Cole's. I'm going to cut out more foods than I already have cut out, PJ.
Well, and you had a long list of cutting out too.
Oh, yeah. So I'm embracing the suck. I have 8 weeks of cold plunging and this food. And I've already done a body comp scan. I'm getting blood work on Thursday. I have an inflammation test next week, a thyroid appointment, and blood work the following week after that. Like, I'm going at this at all sides because I'm going to be in the best shape of my life by the time I'm 40. Tammy is looking at me. Like I said, we're in a new studio. We're trying things out. We actually have this is my great grandparents' old house that we're sitting in. This is the front door right here to my left. And this is the window that used to go into the garden that now goes into the sales bull pit.
But that used to be
that used to go in outside. No, the greenhouse was out there.
Okay.
It was out there.
So just into the garden.
Yeah. So, and then he created this living room, and where the windows are now, he actually used to have old flower beds inside, built out of lava rock with windows to the ground. It was super gross as a kid. Now that I'm just like, okay, I can understand why that happened. But where do you see flower beds inside houses anymore? Like those old 20, 30 year, 1920s, 1930s homes.
Which makes it cool, makes it unique.
Exactly. But we've since remodeled and turned this into our sales pit. So I call that the bullpen because there's 6 people down there, and at any given time, it could be mass chaos. And you guys have walked in here in the spring. Mm-hmm. That is straight up war room because flowers are
very busy.
You know, the thing about buying flowers in what I tell people in retail, the flower business is like Christmas season on crack. It's like Black Friday every day. It is chaos because you do not want to get between a woman and that red geranium she wants. You know what? Tell her she can't have that red geranium. I've been down this road. Don't do that. Embrace the suck. Best option for that lady who wants that red geranium is to take this red geranium that is not that red geranium and be happy about it.
Get out of the way.
Sorry. Embrace the suck is try things outside your comfort zone. So I'm cold plunging and documenting. So I've been doing a little like 1 to 2 minute on video before I go in and right when I come out. And I'm tracking my heart rate. I'm tracking everything.
So video diary.
Yeah, video diary. And we're going to build it into something because honestly, I really believe in being uncomfortable. And because of it, I am leveling up in my life a lot faster than the average person. Well, people are like, how do you do this?
I'm
like,
embrace the suck.
You just put yourself in uncomfortable positions and go forward. Like, do you think I knew how to build a schedule? Nobody knows what I'm talking about. Okay. So we have this humongous document that dictates what we grow, how we grow it.
Think New York City yellow pages. That's the size of this document.
That is the size
New
of
York
this
City
document.
phone book.
And basically from scratch. It was like, hey, you're going to learn how to build our schedules. I was like, oh God. I didn't know what I was doing, but you know what? How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
Yep. And it's just like, okay, I got to figure out Excel. Okay, I got to bring in somebody to help me build it. Okay, then I have to have them train me. Oh, I don't know how to use formulas. Oh, I'm going to need pivot charts. Oh, what's a query? Oh, how do I self-populate? Oh, how do I do this? How does it all tie together? And you just learn it and you figure it out.
And the biggest thing, how to keep people out of it once you got it in.
Oh God. Well, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, so I put myself in uncomfortable positions all the time. But you know what? It makes me a lot more efficient as a human being because I'm able to do that and I'm not afraid of it.
Well, the quote
scared.
we talked about before we went out on air was, a good ship's captain is not made in the port.
No.
Right? Where it's nice and calm and the boat's tied up. That's not where you learn, right? You got to go out there and deal with some adversity, struggle a little bit. That's where the true learning comes from.
Yeah, exactly. There is no learning without adversity.
What's the top 2 fears of most humans?
Change. I don't know if
that's biggest, probably the biggest fear.
I would think so too.
Oh, you want to know the biggest fear above death is public speaking. All 3 of us do it on a regular.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. The other one is fear of failure and change. I encourage people to fail.
Absolutely.
And I try to have an open conversation about it. I'm trying to encourage my kids too to learn this. Like, you are going to learn more from failure than you ever will from success.
And to clarify, because I always write, it's mistakes of effort.
Yes.
Like I will never berate or give somebody
Correct.
grief for trying
Right.
and failing.
Right.
That is, if you're not failing a
Learn the
little bit,
lesson.
you're probably not doing your job. If
Yeah.
I don't come to you and go, Jennifer, I've screwed something up, I am probably not pushing as much as I
Exactly.
need to be pushing. When someone comes in, I made a mistake. Was it a mistake of
Well,
effort? Then you're on my team,
And
baby.
have you learned the lesson and course corrected?
Right.
And if you've over course corrected, can you get back on track, or is it unsalvageable? And in which case, how are we going to do it next time? And what steps do you need to take ahead of time? Because it's just like anything in life besides work, right? If you do not learn that lesson, it will show back up.
Oh, yeah.
And it will be
It's
worse.
going to keep coming back until you learn a lesson. That's how
Until
life
you
works.
learn it. That's it. Do you ever see those people who are perpetual victims? Like,
You mean everyone in the media right now, you mean?
Well,
Every
I'm
single
talking
person?
about half the people that live in this valley. Or
Okay,
more.
sorry. Yeah, there you
It
go.
doesn't
I was
matter.
going a little more global.
Yeah, they're well,
You're a little
it's
more
the
global.
same compounding effect.
Yeah.
It's fine. A perpetual victim. Like the world is happening to them. No, how is this happening for you? Like even in the worst situations, you can find a positive.
This is
You've
my-
got, mindset is everything. I put it up behind me.
My big problem with the words. No, hold on. Words don't hurt you. I don't care. I don't care about your feelings. These are words. If you let someone's words hurt you, you have taken all of your power and given it to someone else.
Yes.
So think about that for a second. If
Who
your
is in
if
charge
your
of your
words are
happiness?
hurting me, I have given you all my power. Who are you? Why would I give you all my power? This seems not smart. Right? So
A lot of people don't think through that execution. I mean, I go into any situation, and Dave and I and Dewey were having a conversation earlier, like, what did I do to contribute to the situation? You know, goes back to self-awareness. Like, well, I had this mindset and I projected it, and this is what's occurred because of it. Nobody meant for that to happen, but I'm still going to have to go through the process and help to
you mean
identify.
you weren't a victim? You were part of whatever that issue was?
I
Interesting.
will take responsibility most of the time for things I had nothing to do with. That's called being
Well,
the boss.
And a quick way to wrap it up and move on, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's tie a bow around this and get
Yep.
going.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not going to sit there and berate you when something bad's going on in a work scenario. I'm going to help you solve it. I'm going to assist you, give you, as long as you come to me early enough that I can. You know, if it's a pile of ashes by the time you come to me,
No reason to get out the hose.
I am not Dumbledore, and there is not a phoenix coming out of that. I don't know what to tell you.
That was always my line. I left my magic wand in my last job. At the last
My
job.
cape is at home. I cannot help you.
She's Batman.
So we're gonna have to have what superhero are you episode. I'm gonna have to bring other people with you two and others, and we're gonna have
Or
everybody.
everyone here should be assigned a vegetable or plant superhero title.
I still want to
Dave
do.
is Captain Zinnia. I don't know. I'm making shit up
I
now. but
really want to do
you're like
a
the
vegetable
poppy
a
princess.
vegetable festival, and everybody in retail is in a different vegetable. I even bought the outfits. I am not getting buy-in from the department. They're like, "You want me to be a what?" I'm like, "You a carrot, you a radish, you lettuce. I want you to be a pickle." I think it's great.
Sounds like a video filming day to me.
Yeah,
Is what
yeah,
it sounds
yeah.
like.
I think I need to have CJ in
yeah,
charge.
for
but,
sure. Should be a
yeah.
penguin in there for good measure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if we're gonna do this, we might as well make it a festival and then invite all of the Magic Valley. And
Exactly.
There you go.
Well, and then I think we have a vegetable grill off that night,
yes.
so we can try some grill off.
we can
'cause-
have Miss and Mr. Vegetable. You know,
Oh, we could have it
in a costume type thing. That'd be cool.
Well, I just gotta wait till all the Halloween one goes on sale. I try to pay attention. There's a box downstairs somewhere, and it's got like
I think we've
romaine
talked
and
about this.
carrots.
Yes.
We found
Yes.
it when we've been looking for things. Like, why do you have outfits of vegetables? I was like, I have a big idea. I need somebody to be a bumblebee too. So we need a bumblebee buzzing around.
I'll grab the vacuum. That's pretty
Not the
bumblebee. You know what I'm talking about? The lawnmower vacuum. It's already yellow. I'm right part way there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we could have a lot of fun with this. But yeah, I really think it's important for people to generate growth. And I am trying to generate growth. Best shape of my life by the time I'm 40.
Good for
Like,
you.
that's a tremendously
Marvelous goal.
huge goal.
Marvelous
so
goal.
I'm starting with my body on a cellular level because that is a huge obstacle for me.
Quick question.
I didn't say-
for clarity.
Yeah.
So were you an athlete in school? In other words,
I was a junior Olympic competitive athlete
okay,
in high
because
school.
my first
Like,
comment was you're American, so you don't have to go that far to be healthier than you used to be. Is my point. So that's why I was trying to clarify.
Okay, let's qualify that statement.
Okay.
I don't eat dairy. I don't eat gluten. I don't eat sugar.
the
I
last
don't drink
5 minutes.
soda. I don't. Yeah, I was like,
Since
I
noon
did have a
today.
Snicker bar yesterday. It wasn't a Snicker bar. It was from Spain.
Ooh.
in Oñate, where my aunt lives, from her chocolate factory. And it was like, I can't eat this for the next 2 months, and I'm eating it today.
Today's the day.
That's happening because in 2 months it's going to be stale, and I'm going to be pissed at myself.
Was it delicious?
Not really.
Oh.
So, okay.
Bummer.
I am a snot with food.
Snob. Very snob.
No, I'm a snot. I am snob compounded. I'm squared.
Snob squared.
I'm snob squared with food. And it's just because I can't tolerate so much. If I'm going to eat it, it better be
amazing. Right.
delicious.
If you're going to be tortured, be punished for it for 2 days.
90% of the time, I will cook at home because I can make better food than 90% of the restaurant.
Oh, I know. And nothing like spending a bunch of money you really don't have on food that was and you go, I could have done better at home. And then it wouldn't hurt so bad because I know what I put in it.
I like rare steak.
Ooh, it's hard to get
How
in a
many?
restaurant.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yep.
it's hard to get in a restaurant.
Yeah.
So
That's actually,
in your quests, and everybody else that has quests, it's going to be important to celebrate your milestones in each of
big
these
time.
in each of these quests that you decide to do, because you've got to have something that you've got that new platform to stand on now.
Absolutely.
Before you can take that next step. So celebrate that.
So if I make it through the next 2 months of cold plunges and pulling out literally all the inflammatory foods and surviving the next 8 weeks, I should apologize now. It's like quitting smoking at the beginning of the season. I mean,
Don't mess with Jennifer this month. Just March.
She's
Good time to talk to her.
She's
When-
stabby.
March.
So if I do that, I'm making a tattoo appointment, and I'm like, I've already got it planned
Excellent.
out. Like,
Excellent.
I'd like, because that's something I want to do, because at the end of this, I'm doing pinup photos. I'm climbing a mountain. I got all these, like, I'm going to do a triathlon. Like, I've got,
And so you already set it up exactly what he's saying. So the ultimate goal is best shape ever in 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you back that into, for the next 8 weeks, I'm doing the cold
Doing
plunge
this?
and I'm ridiculously restrictive diet.
Yeah.
But steps.
But-
This is
And-
where you start, right?
Exactly.
One bite
So-
at a time.
take the inflammation down.
Yep.
Because literally, I don't want to take medication for these stupid diseases I can't get rid of. And they're all inflammation based. So let's just
not
take
forget, the pills they want you to take are not curing anything. All it's going to do is
Treating.
suppress a
It's
symptom.
treating.
massive.
Yeah, not treating
massive.
bupkis. It's suppressing a symptom. So we did nothing to address the root cause of any
We
of
didn't
this.
fix it.
But here's a pill that will suppress those symptoms. Oh, here's another pill because that pill will screw up your kidneys.
Oh,
So
yeah.
here's a pill.
No,
It's a horrible
I'm
cycle.
not exactly.
You're on
And
the right train.
I'm doing full body,
Yeah, yeah.
full system. So yeah, celebrate the milestones, and they could be little things. Like, so
Absolutely.
I'm not rewarding myself with a banana split because it sounds so good, but
It does sound
it does sound pretty good. But the thought, now I've changed my whole mindset. Like, I don't think, oh man, I can't eat cheese. I'm like, what do you feel like when you eat cheese?
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm not touching the cheese.
We always
like-
paint a rosy picture.
Well,
You
and
never
I
look at the
literally have
results.
totally shifted my mindset. It has been so much easier to cut these foods out for the first time ever, just by saying, what's that going to make me feel like?
Mhm.
Again, you're saying to yourself, 89% of all of this is your mental. It's not
all
getting up at 4 in the
mindset.
morning. It's not. It's
4:30, I'm awake.
vast
If
majority of
anybody's
it.
ever worried,
Oh, God.
I'm awake at 4:30 every day except Saturday and Sunday.
Ooh,
Yeah.
torture.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it takes to make yourself feel better.
I am in bed by 8:30.
Yes, you are.
So if you call me at 9, shit must be on fire because I'm not probably. And I keep my phone outside of the bedroom.
I'm awake at 4:30 too, but
Not it's
The other way around.
other problem. Yeah, no. So I've learned to. I have an alarm at 6:45 that says get ready for bed. 8:30 that says go plug me in, specifically my phone. Get your workout clothes, put them out in the bathroom. Like cold plunging. I was packing my bag for cold plunging tomorrow. This morning, it's sitting on my bed. It's got my clean swimsuit, and because I'm not ready to have the bits out in the cold water yet, I want them to be covered.
Yeah, because that millimeter of shear is doing something for your 40. No, that nipple will be perfectly warm in this swimsuit.
Mindset. It is a mindset situation. It is in my head. I am okay.
Masking
with this.
tape might do it too. Just throwing it out there in case you forget the bathing suit.
When
one
I
morning.
go to plunging naked, I will let you know. That's not on video, just so everybody knows. No, it is
The 10 o'clock
strictly
show.
my face and a horizontal. It's not the vertical. But yeah, it's just it's this one. I have to be able to measure this too, and so that's going to be the most important part is being able to track this. But like, how am I keeping myself accountable to the hike? Like, I'm really fascinated with this 29029. I don't think I've told you guys about this. It's 29,029 steps elevation up to the top of Everest.
I was going to say, I knew Everest was there.
It's Everest.
29,000,
So
I know.
they started this at Park City. You hiked it 13 times in a row. That's the equivalent of Everest. So it's called this Everesting thing. So they do it at Snow Basin. They're doing it at Sun Valley. They do it at Whistler, Jackson Hole. So they're doing it at Sun Valley in June. And it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have to do it in 36 hours.
Wow.
It's 15 times from the base of River Run up to the gondola. And so it's the equivalent of hiking Everest if you do it 15 times in 36 hours.
So you're going up and then hiking down. Going
No,
up
you're
and
hiking up,
taking the
riding
gondola
down.
Okay.
Hiking up. So you're only going up. And I'm super fascinated with this. So I'm volunteering for it because
Just to see
I
the
wanna
whole
see
deal.
it.
Yeah.
I volunteered for Ironman in Boise, the half Ironman. I put a medal on a woman that was my grandmother's age. I was like, what the hell am I doing with
Right.
my life?
Yeah.
Right.
If
Or you
she
see
can
people
do it.
much bigger than you, much
Yeah.
older, much
Yeah.
worse shape, and like, hold on, why do they have a number on their chest?
Exactly.
Why am I behind
Well,
the water
and the cool
table?
thing
here?
about the Everesting thing is that you have a bib, right? Just like any race.
Right.
And on the back, they have a stamp for every time
Punch
you make
cards.
it. And so if you made it 7 times, it's this mountain. It's the 10
Oh, that's
times,
kinda
it's
cool.
K2.
That's not- yeah, that's neat.
And so you
Okay.
still are, and
So
not
you're
everybody
hitting
makes
targets.
it.
Of course not.
Are you
How many
kidding?
people has died on Everest? A bunch.
Yeah.
And they leave them
Yeah.
there so you
Oh,
can walk
yeah,
by
they
'em.
do. So you can
Well,
watch
it's-
them on the way by.
Yeah, it's just a reminder that your mortality is, and
Finite.
and honestly, what this comes down to is challenging yourself is a way to set yourself up to have the longest, most fulfilling life. So as I would finish off the last, because Zach's given us the whoa, you went over time.
Is that one finger again?
Yeah, yeah.
No, that was like 5.
Yeah.
And it was a negative. It was like, hey, assholes, you're not paying attention. So -3. There, see, he's doing it.
He just cuts off the mic. We don't know
Right.
that we're live
And you're
anymore.
shut
Your
down.
time is up.
Click. That actually happened when him and I were filming.
meter's
one time.
off.
We ran out of battery power and all.
Wow.
There was no
like
video.
full color, but
And we're gone.
bold.
Yeah. So if you have a big goal, like I am watching my grandfather go through dementia. My great grandmother died of Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is thought to be diabetes 3. If I can get in the best shape of my life now, not when I'm 50 or 60 or 70, how much cognitive health am I going to say? So I have homework. If anybody has Disney Plus, I've been binge watching this. This is what I didn't tell you. Limitless. It's Chris Hemsworth.
Oh,
I
saw
Thor.
this because he quit.
Okay.
He quit the business after the show.
Really?
Well, so they found he was susceptible to Alzheimer's. He's like, Dad, I'm done acting. I got to go work on this.
Absolutely.
During that show, that
So
he found this out.
he swam in the Norwegian Sea
Right?
in the cold. He had to go so far, and cold plunging was a part of his process. Controlling his stress response. He was in downtown Sydney climbing out on a crane on like a 160-story building and learning that process. He goes through all sorts of different stuff. He fasts for 4 days with no fasting. I mean, a man with that much muscle, can you imagine the protein intake? It's like 3,000 calories in one meal, kind of nonsense. Like an entire pan of steak. Oh, yeah, that's breakfast.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, oh, God, I couldn't do it. I appreciate it, but I don't need that much protein. He does. He has that much muscle. So he literally is challenging. He wanted to set himself up to be like, have the longest life possible so that he can be a good parent. He can be a good husband. He can be a good grandparent, whatever. And he went through 6 different, the last one I haven't watched is aging. So he goes through like coming to terms with the end of life and death. But he does several different things. And I'm so surprised to hear this.
I haven't watched it, but they
He's
he
probably
found
finishing-
something. He was predisposed to something, and it freaked
It's
him out.
it's Alzheimer's.
Like to
And,
the point
yeah,
where he made like hardcore life changes based on that show's results.
it literally was the episode I just watched.
Okay.
He did a full blood panel. They literally, I mean, he's like, we did basically $1 million in blood work and biomarkers and stool
Right.
samples and saliva. I mean, like anything they could test, they did test to go into it. And like, he's a miracle on paper until you get into his DNA genetic code. And then he has 10 times more likeliness of getting, I think it is Alzheimer's.
Yes, I think it was Alzheimer's.
As anyone else. Now, Alzheimer's can come in has diabetes 3 is the research that's came out in the last 10 years. And dementia is closely linked to that too. And so is, nutrient uptake, enough water, things like that. And so if you are taking care of yourself, my grandmother is a perfect example. She looks 60. Anybody who knows Carolyn Moss? Oh my God. The one I hear about how your mom used to come to fitness classes with me at 5 a.m. every day. I was like, that's my grandma. She looks really young.
She does
Hey,
indeed.
she's above 80 years old. I won't age my grandma more than that. That's
Nice.
already an overshare. But her mother died of Alzheimer's at 85. She was a heavier set woman. I love my great grandma Ruth. I have very, very fond memories. But had she not gotten diabetes, and she was probably predisposition to Alzheimer's, she might not have died early. Right. So my grandma Carolyn stayed in really good shape, and her brain's a lot sharper because of it. Yeah. So if I can get ahead of this now, when I have some control, like Chris Hemsworth, he's like, man, I'm in that premium part of my life. I'm really take control of it. And you have to embrace the suck to do that, i.e. giving up everything except vegetables and fish and olive
and
oil,
air.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And that's unlimited.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have so much.
Yikes.
Yeah. Find something really hard that scares you. And I know that if you listen to us regularly, I talk about embracing fear because fear keeps you alert. But embrace something that sucks and know what's going to be on the other side of it. Yep. And celebrate the little milestones. It might be, hey, I made it to the gym for 60 days. Mm-hmm. I'm buying myself a pair of really sexy gym shoes.
Yep.
Or shorts. Or I'm wearing the bikini. Whatever you got to do to motivate yourself. But you need to understand your why. I want to be in the best shape of my life because I don't want to turn out like my great grandma or, dying early. Or,
good for you realizing you have all of the control.
I do.
Every single bit of it is within your control. So that's, to me, the very first step.
But you have to be comfortable making massive change.
You do, and you have to do it for yourself. You're not doing it for anybody else.
Correct.
Don't get skinny so that your husband will love you more.
Right.
Because that won't work in my house.
Back to things outside of your control.
Yeah.
Why you can't. Right. No.
I don't do this for anybody but myself.
And it's the only one that matters. It's the same reason
you
you don't quit smoking until you're ready. Your wife could bitch at you, your mom. You
Doesn't
don't
matter.
quit until you're ready.
What made you quit?
I loved everything about it other than spending I'll date myself, other than spending $30 a carton to kill myself. When I
what
quit
is it,
smoking,
like 80 or 100
70
now?
or $80 a carton.
God.
When I quit, Marlboros were $33 a carton. And in fact, I didn't even tell my wife. I went and made an appointment. I did it myself. She goes, why didn't you tell me? And I go, listen, if I can't do this myself, you're not even involved.
Right.
I don't need you. I had to make sure I did it. And she quickly followed suit.
Yep.
But it's all you. It's all your head. There's no one else involved. Husband, kid, mom.
It has
doesn't
to be
matter.
for you.
There's only one person.
If your why is for someone else, you're not going to finish.
You can fail. Absolutely.
Every time.
And is it smart? Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it actionable?
Well,
is it reasonable? And is it time sensitive? Did I get them all? Am I damn close?
I think you're close.
Yeah. So it's a SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable, it's actionable,
which is all the ways to make it happen, right? Because you
That's how
can't
you
just say,
have to
I
do it.
want to be in great shape. That doesn't, what does that?
Well, and I
That's-
had to do the
those
gap in the
words.
gain approach. And I had to say, all right, I'm in the best shape of my life when I'm 40. What has to be true for that to happen? First was wrap up my cellular health at a base level because that's the only thing I can control. Because I'm so oversaturated with health information after the last 4 years of going through all this stuff that I could not even figure out where to start. So I'm like, all right, hold on. Let's go to base root. Inflammation, stress response. Let's go with those first. What can I do that doesn't have a doctor involved besides a measurement?
Right.
Blood work. I don't need a prescription. I don't need you to give me a drug. I don't care about any of that.
But let's look at the test.
Okay, what am I imbibing? How much water do I need? How much sleep do I need? And what's my stress response? Okay, I can do that with food and cold water. Got it. I already need food. Cold water's the addition.
I'm
in the
kind of
winter.
excited to see how this goes for you. I'm excited to see how that goes.
We'll do little updates and we'll pinch in, and then I'm going to start doing challenges for people because by God, if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, good for you for taking the onus to get it going. Good for you.
Yeah. I'm not
made
going to
the
sit
hardest
here.
steps.
Everyone thinks that I'm all confidence. It's like, no, this scares the living shit out of me. It's like straight terror. But yeah, okay, let's go. You committed.
Yep.
Good for you.
Embrace that suck.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's,
embrace the suck and honor the struggle by doing celebratory goals. And with that, Zach is going to cut us off because we will run out of battery power. And thanks for watching, listening, whatever platform you're on. But come back for February editions coming soon. I won't even tell you what they are. We'll just get more and more interesting. And then hopefully we'll have a new improved studio by then. We might even have a bistro set that's not mishmashed from random spots at the greenhouse. And with that, we invite you to go live life in full color because plain is pretty boring. Thanks for watching and listening, guys.